these characters even though we recognize them, right? So that's stereotyping done badly. When your character is really just nothing but a stereotype. And as a result of that, your narrative suffers and your character suffers and you start to lose interest in the anime and in the story because you don't identify with the character. So, any questions? No? Okay. So we're gonna go on to the bad now. And if you're a fan of Sword Art Online, you might want to leave the room now. I'm gonna spend like the next 5 minutes I'm just talking shit about Sword Art Online. Okay, who's seen Sword Art Online? Everyone's seen Sword Art Online? Okay, one person has seen Sword Art, 2 people have seen Sword Art Online. Okay, I was hoping more people have seen it because like Sword Art Online is...
Before you start, I have to say the starting was nice, okay?
The starting was nice, that's what I was gonna say. I really like Sword Art Online at the start. It's like, but that had nothing to do with the characters because the setting of Sword Art Online is very interesting. Like they're all, like we talked about like appealing to your audience and letting your audience identify with something. Like we're all, like a lot of us are gamers. We've all played games before. We've all played RPGs before, and we've all had this sort of desire to be like in an RPG or in a game. And Sword Art Online was like a really cool way of appealing to that at the start because basically the plot of Sword Art Online, if you haven't seen it, is that they all get stuck in an online game, right? It's like an online game and like you have swords and you kill monsters and basically they get trapped in the game by the game programmer and if you die in the game, you die in real life, right? So the tension of that setting created like a lot of suspense for the first few episodes because it's really cool. It's like, oh my god, it's like they're fighting and like it's a game world, but there's also like this cool side where like if you die in real life, so you're really excited to see what happens to the characters and like whether they manage to escape. But anime goes really bad very quickly because the characters are so awfully stereotypical. So Kirito, who is our male protagonist, is nothing. He's literally nothing. Have you seen Sword Art Online? Who's seen Sword Art Online? You've seen Sword Art Online, right? Tell me, describe Kirito for me. What is he? Tell me something about his character.
I mix it up with the novel, so it's better enough that I describe it.
I mean, like, the character of Kirito is basically, he's very good at video games. Okay, what else? Oh, yes. He's very insecure about the fact that he's very good at video games, apparently. And then it's like, it's not just that. I mean, like, Sword Art Online is very poorly written in general because, like, a lot of his motivations don't make any sense. But Kirito as a character is really just a very blank protagonist. He's like, oh yes, I'm good at video games and I want to beat the game. That's it. There's nothing else to his character. And Asuna, his love interest, was actually the saving grace of the show for a while. I feel like Asuna was the best character of Sword Art Online right up until the point that she starts dating Kirito. And once that happens, it all goes downhill. Do you want to say something? So basically, before Kirito and Asuna start going out, Asuna is this sort of very interesting character. She's like ahead of everyone, right? She's this strong female character who, in contrast to all the other females in the show, right? Because all the other females in the show have these really typical like lolly, like kawaii, like stereotypes to them. So Asuna was actually in contrast to them because she was this strong female character. She was like stronger than a lot of other male characters, and she was like sort of doing her own thing. She was like, I'm gonna beat the game on my own. Like she had a leadership role, right? As soon as she starts going out with Kirito, she reverts to this very typical anime female stereotype of just being the girlfriend. She's like, oh yes, like I'm nothing without my boyfriend. Like, oh, everything I do is for my boyfriend, I can't live without him, he taught me how to live, blah blah blah. Which is bullshit because she was a very strong character on her own from the beginning. And for some reason, instead of her relationship making the narrative stronger, then the relationship makes the narrative weaker because all of a sudden it's just like, wow, both these characters are like acting really stereotypical because it's like, oh yeah, we're in love. But like, why are you in love? Because the relationship wasn't even well developed from the start. It seems like the only reason that Asuna goes out with Kirito is because Kirito is the main character and no other reason apart from that. And ever since then, the show has gone downhill because the show has just kept on introducing more and more stereotypical female characters because the very next arc, they introduce an Imoto character who is in love with her older brother to replace Asuna as well. And Asuna becomes even worse because Asuna literally is not a character anymore. She's just something to be rescued because she doesn't even have dialogue for like 10 episodes. And then you have the next season of Sword Art Online where they introduce another female character, and it's another female character where at first we think, oh, okay, this character is interesting, she's a sniper, she's like a badass, and then all of a sudden, oh no, she gets kidnapped by the death guy, and then all of a sudden she's about to get raped, and then Kirito has to rescue her again. And that just reinforces all the negative stereotypes in anime. And yeah, basically Sword Art Online is a terrible show, don't watch it. Because of the stereotypes, not because I am a bias against it or anything.
I was
Just-
Yuki.
Huh?
Yuki.
Yuki's not bad.
Ah.
Yuki might be the saving grace of the show, but I have not seen that part yet. So we will see how it turns out. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the subversions of stereotypes, which is another interesting topic in anime. Now, you've seen how stereotypes can be applied effectively. And this is another way to effectively apply stereotypes, is by introducing a stereotype and then subverting it. So there's Oran Host Club, which is one of the most wonderful examples of this. So who's seen Oran Host Club? 2 people, again, say 2 people. So what Oran Host Club is about is that there's this boy who joins a school for rich people, right? And then in this school for very rich people, there's a host club.
Boy.
I'm getting onto that, right? And in this host club, they have all these male stereotypes. There's like the Megane stereotype, there's like the blonde, like president stereotype, there's the twins, right? And they're all like stereotypes, but there's also, the twist is that this boy breaks like a piece of, he breaks like a vase that's worth like, I don't know, like 500 million yen or something. And in order to pay his debt, he has to work for the host club. And then at the end of the first episode, you find out that this boy is actually a girl, right? It's a girl that actually just looks like a very good looking guy. So there's your first subversion, right? You have this really cute, innocent boy who actually turns out to be a girl. So there's that subversion of feminine and masculine because all the girls are in love with him because she's a very cute guy, but all the guys are also in love with her because she's also a very cute girl. And then as the series progresses, you find out that all the stereotypes in the club of like the twins and of the president and of the Megane guy, like all those stereotypes are actually facades. Like they're not actually like that. They're just acts that they put on for the sake of the host club, which sort of reflects like the media in real life. You know how when you look at celebrities or idols or actors or whatever, they all have this sort of facade that everyone wants to see and everyone is really attracted to, but you know that's just not the reality of it. So this show is great because it takes those gender stereotypes and it deconstructs them. Like, why do people like see them in this way? Why would they act in this way? Like, what makes them become like this? So if you have time, go watch Oran Host Club. Brilliant show. One of the best comedy animes of all time. And then we have Kill la Kill. Now, Kill la Kill is very interesting because a lot of people are convinced that Kill la Kill is just a fan service show. Which at a glance it does look like. Who here has seen Kill la Kill? Alright, more people have seen Kill la Kill. So Kill la Kill, if you saw art of the female main character, what would you think? You think, oh my god, it's another one of those like Arrow anime shows where like the female main character is just like their fan service. And there's a very good reason. I mean, I'm trying not to go into spoilers here, but people who have seen Kill la Kill will know what I'm talking about. There's a very good reason why her outfit is that revealing. And one, yes, it's for fan service. But the way the costume is explained in the show, it's... If you remember that part, the first fight was... Huh?
Closest to see.
Closest. Okay, that part is a bit sillier. But the first fight is Satsuki. Right, where because she gets this costume in the first episode and she's like really embarrassed about it, like because she can't believe how revealing it is, and like all the male characters in the show react in like the predictable ways, like oh my god, like she's so hot, and the audience reacts in that way as well, right? The show, the writers and the designers specifically draw you to that reaction because as the show progresses, she slowly becomes more and more comfortable in that costume. And being more comfortable is the key to her unlocking the full power of the costume. Right? So you contrast Ryuko's character to Satsuki, right? So Satsuki is also put in a similarly revealing costume, but Satsuki is much stronger. Why is Satsuki much stronger? Because as she explains to Ryuko, she is completely fine with wearing the costume. She is comfortable in her own skin and she's comfortable appearing like that before the world. So what Kill la Kill is saying is that in the medium of anime, there are a lot of female main characters and a lot of female characters that are overly sexualized, right? Just because it's an anime and because that is the female stereotype. But what Kill la Kill is saying is that just because you are sexualized does not mean you are relegated to being a sexual object. If you forget about the way the world looks at you, if you forget about what the world wants you to do, if you forget about all the expectations, like as a female main character in an outfit like that, you're expected to just provide fan service. You're expected to act shy. You're expected to be like a love interest or something. But what Kill la Kill is saying is that you can throw off all those expectations and you can use that as a source of your own power. By ignoring those expectations, you can subvert them and you can go above everything else. Because what Kill la Kill is eventually all about is about overthrowing. It's about overthrowing the hierarchy. And that's what Ryuko does in a lot of different ways. Right? It's very easy to see that Ryuko is overthrowing the hierarchy from her position. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take down the academy. And then from the academy, I'm going to take down... I mean, after she takes down the academy, the plot kind of takes like a different turn. But like the first arc of the academy arc, the overthrow is not just Ryuko, defeating all the council members in combat. It's also her becoming increasingly comfortable with the situation she's in, being more comfortable with the power that she's been given, right? And that power is being a female. Okay? So that's it for all the predetermined content in this presentation. Now, if there's any more questions, I will take them now. If not, then the panel is going to be over. I'm just going to go play Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Any points? Any questions? No?
About females being fan service, I think it's more of personality of the female, whether she is shy or she is confident with being in revealing attire.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not really a stereotype. It's just part of the personality. Whether can she be a confident person or a shy person?
But that's part of but that's also a stereotype. So here's the thing: the stereotype of fan service characters is either cute, shy fan service character or very confident, seductive fan service character. There's no in between. The great thing about Kill la Kill is you have Satsuki and Ryuko, and they're sexualized, but there's nothing sexual about their characters, because you look at those characters you look at those like confident female characters that are sexualized. They draw attention to their own sexuality, right? They're always like very seductive and very confident. They're always drawn like thrusting their chest out, walking around, like their hips swaying, like, and they're seen as this, oh yeah, this like sexy, like older seductive woman. Whereas a Kill la Kill, like they actually negate that sexuality despite the fact that their design is very sexual. So by the end of Kill la Kill, you actually sort of look past all of that if you're following the narrative. If you're just like tuning into Kill la Kill, like at episode like 20 or something, you're gonna see the design and still think it's very sexual. But if you've been following the narrative of Kill la Kill very closely, the sexuality actually dissipates because the characters become more than that.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so talk about Kill la Kill, right?
Yeah.
So do you watch Queen's Blade?
I've seen some Queen's Blade on
Okay,
like
so
different
if
sites.
you say that Kill la Kill is not gender discrimination, or do they have gender discrimination?
What, Kill la Kill?
Yeah.
No.
Not so much, right?
It's a
So
subversion.
okay, compared to Kill la Kill and Queen's Blade, what
Yeah.
is your opinion?
Well, I mean, Queen's Blade is just like a fan service machine, pretty much. I don't know, I haven't seen much of Queen's Blade. I don't know the plot.
The plot is
I have seen the GIFs, I have seen the videos on certain sites, I have seen the pictures on certain sites, and I have seen the tentacles, and I have seen the armor falling off, and like, so I just can tell there's a lot of fan service there, and it sort of like,
Okay,
it coincides with like the general like
do you
mainstream.
play Senran Kagura?
I've seen Senran Kagura. I've
It's
seen
okay. It's okay.
Well, but what's the question?
Okay, the thing is, they have good plots. I mean, but plots, not only plots.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But actual plots, and I mean, Kill la Kill, it's a bit. Yes, it does bring the gender discrimination, but I just want to ask your opinion on other series that more or less similar to Kill la Kill. That's all.
To my knowledge, there are no series out there that do the same thing that Kill la Kill does, which is this subversion. I mean, like, okay, Senran Kagura has a plot, but does the fan service play a role in that plot whatsoever? Does the fan service have a role in developing the characters? Does the fan service have a role in developing the plot? Is there a message behind the fan service?
I think that instead of saying, looking at the fan service, right,
Yeah.
you should look beyond the fan service, and whether you like the character or not doesn't determine on the fan service.
Yes, that's true.
Because if you take Senran Kagura, okay,
Yeah.
if you play the game, okay, you take away all the world's exploding part, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's actually a good game.
I know, but that's the thing. So what? If you take away the fan service, it's still a good game.
It's still a good game.
Kill la Kill. If you take away the fan service, the message is completely different. That's what I'm trying to say here. Is that Kill la Kill.
Okay.
The fan service is there for a reason besides being fan service. If you look at Ikito-sen, I love Ikito-sen. So
Okay.
it's my guilty pleasure anime. Right? But the fan service has absolutely no role. The fan service is there just for the sake of fan service. If you took away all the fan service, Ikito-sen would still be the same anime.
Okay.
But Kill la Kill, if you took away the fan service, it would be completely different.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, no, fan service is good. I'm not here to like say that shows shouldn't have fan service or whatever. I'm just here saying that like I'm just here to talk about stereotypes. Okay, I guess that's it. If no one else has any more questions, thank you for listening. Thank you for attending the best panel at VAX. If there's an award, please vote for me. Hopefully I'll get some money or something. If you liked the discussion today, please search up School of Otaku and Anime Studies on Facebook or Google. We have a series of podcasts. Gender stereotypes is one of the topics, but there are other topics like, you know, sports anime, cosplay, and like openings and direction of anime. And yeah, you know, hit me up on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Vine, my free camps.
Will you share your darkest fetishes in your Vine? Will you share your darkest fetishes in your Vine?
No, that's my Twitter. You gotta follow my Twitter.
Okay. I will follow your Twitter.
Alright, thank you guys. Enjoy your day.
Hey, I have one question.
Any question?
What's your opinion on Mandarin?
On what?
What's your opinion on Mandarin?
I love Mandarin. But the fan service is just fan service, right?
Yeah.
But Vandra has some very good characters. All the female characters are very good. And there's a subversion of gender roles in Vandra as well, which is very good because the females are in charge.
Yeah, females are in charge of their own.
It's really